Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day to day lives. Let's start with the video.
For some background, I, female 25, and my mother in law, Rue, female 52, have never had a good relationship. I met my Blaze at our local library and we hit it off from there. I didn't meet my mother in law immediately after, though. It was around the time when Blaze and I had been dating for 2 years that I met her, and boy, would I do anything to turn back time. I'm not saying this just because there's a huge reason behind it all. And I'm going to let you guys be the judge of the fact that if it is a valid one at that. So, as I said, my mother in law has tried making my life a living hell ever since we met. And the reason behind it wasn't anything like, oh, I just don't like her, from my observation. I think there are multiple reasons why she never liked me. Firstly, the fact that I came from a way richer background than my husband does. Secondly, from her point of view, I am a glow down from my husband's past relationships. And thirdly, relating to the second point, I'm pretty sure she wanted Blaze to get married to one of his exes. Even though she made all of that so evident, I never let her know that I was hurt or angry. I tried to pull the kill them with kindness because of how close Blaze was to her. Like any good partner, I wanted her to like me, love me, and accept me, especially due to the fact that I don't have a mother of my own. I thought that I'd have a mother through meeting my fiance, but nope. I think the fact that I expected something out of my mother in law became my poison. And I think it's the kind that's going to destroy the happy relationship I've had with Blaze. Even though that's sad, I think I'm okay with it because what my mother in law did was completely out of line. I think the first time she saw my earrings were at the wedding dress shopping. I had carried them with me to see if they went well with my dress. As soon as I found my dream wedding outfit, I was in love. Not just with the dress, but also with the fact that the earrings went perfectly along with my dress. The earrings were passed down to me from my grandma and then my mother. They both wore them at their weddings, and they were gifted to me as a surprise by my dad when I got engaged and made them so much more special to me. So when Rue saw them and so very sweetly began asking me questions about them, I immediately put my guard up because, as you all know, this was one of the few times she was so sweet to me. I knew she'd only ever be nice to me when she wanted something, and it didn't take her long to pull me aside one day and ask me if she could borrow the earrings. I very gently told her no, that the earrings were very precious to me and that I just couldn't give them to her because they meant the world to me. Then what? She threw a huge fit, like a child who didn't get the toy that they wanted, and my husband obviously took her side. I stood firm on my decision for the very first time, and it definitely created some cracks between the two of us. I wanted to talk about it, I really did, but in the midst of all the wedding planning, we all just decided to put it behind our backs. Eventually, the wedding came and things fell apart real time. I wasn't expecting anything so crazy to happen, but at the same time had an intuition that something might go wrong. Well, here I am because it all definitely went wrong, and it was a horrifying experience overall. It began when I started getting ready for the wedding. My attention obviously wasn't on the small things around the room. I mean, why would I be worried? The room was filled with people who I thought were near and dear to me. My best friends, cousins, my mother in law, and the stylists present there too were people who I had known for years. So I let myself relax. But as time went on and my wedding outfit came together, I began realizing I couldn't see my earrings anywhere. Panic immediately ensued, and I instructed everyone in the room to try to find them. I was on the verge of tears, and it was Rue who tried comforting me. Can you believe that? It was around this time that she set her phone in front of the table I was sitting close to and told me she'd be back because she had something to get done real quick. That is when I saw her phone buzz and watched a text pop up from my father-in-law that said, "You need to cut the crap and enjoy the wedding." I immediately realized what was happening and very shamelessly took her phone into my hands and scrolled through her messages, and there she had it. Texts, one after the other, to my father-in-law, taking in great detail about how desperately she wanted to steal the earrings because an entitled, privileged woman like me deserved to be taught a lesson. I screenshotted those texts as fast as I could and sent it to myself. I then began questioning what I should do. I knew I had very little time. I wanted my wedding to go smoothly, but at the same time, I thought to myself, what about after my wedding? If I let her go because I want to make things smooth now, I know I wouldn't be happy in the future. And so, with nervousness creeping inside me, I called up the cops and explained everything to them. My mother-in-law did not return at all the next 30 minutes. The cops took to arrive, and the moment they did, the look on her face was priceless. It was like all the color had drained out of her body. The cops began checking everyone, and when it was my mother-in-law's turn, she began refusing, telling them it's her right, not wanting to go through with the checking. Everyone instantly realized how suspicious what she said was and sort of started making comments about how she should really let the cops do their duty. This took a hit on my mother-in-law's ego, and she decided to give her bag to the cops, and guess what? They found it with her. I'd have to give it to her that she hid it extremely deep inside her purse, but I still found it. Stupid, because there were so many other places she could have hidden them, but well, I'm not complaining. The cops handed me my earrings back and asked me if I wanted to press charges. My father-in-law had his head down in silence because he was embarrassed. But Blaze immediately jumped in and began pressuring me to say no. I took a deep breath and told the cops I'll be needing time to make a decision and I'll let them know for sure. The cops left, but of course this wasn't good enough for him, and the look on his face said it all. So I told him that I wanted to put the marriage on hold until I made the right decision. Blaze tried fighting me over it, and so did my mother-in-law, who knew just how badly she had messed up. I was too tired to fight at that point, so I didn't say a word and just left. Yes, everything paid for, and it all went to waste. Everyone has been giving mother-in-law shit for ruining the wedding and even going as far as to suggest I press the charges because that's the only way she'll understand. I'm starting to agree with that because I'm truly on the verge of breaking things off with this family in general. Is it the right thing to do? AITA? I wasn't planning to update this post, but after the overwhelming amount of love, support, and advice you guys left back, I have decided to post this small update telling you guys what has been happening since I first made my post. Well, I ended up moving in with my cousin, and Blaze, from what I have heard, has been living with his parents. Surprisingly enough, my mother-in-law has reached out to me numerous times to apologize and tried to convince me to go ahead with the wedding. Although it feels nice to see her apologies, I'm pretty much sure it's all just an act. She's broken my trust so much that I don't know what else she could do that would make me believe her again. Blaze has shown up numerous times at my cousin's doorstep trying to talk to me, but I'm really not feeling up to it. Basically, to put it short, they're all trying to reach out to me after realizing how upset I am, and I don't know if I should believe them or not. I haven't made a decision yet, but whatever I'm trying to think, it's all leading me to think negatively. What do you guys think? Today, my husband's cousin showed up at my cousin's place and asked me if we could talk. Now, a little background on this cousin is that she's one of the first people that I've met from my fiance's side of the family, and we're really good friends before anything. So I obviously wasn't going to say no. We sit down, and throughout the conversation, she's extremely guilty and almost awkward. And from everything she's told me, it was pretty clear that her reaction was understandable and expected. During our conversation, she explained to me how it is indeed my fiance and his family's plan to get me convinced that they've all changed. I wasn't surprised a single bit. So I just let her talk, and she went on to say that even though she loves Blaze as a sibling, I should really run as far away as I possibly can from him because he's really set on marrying me only so I can drop the charges. Not gonna lie, even though I was aware of all of this, there was definitely a part of me that broke. I just thanked her and she left. Immediately after, I called up Blaze and invited him over. At this point, I was so ready to end things with him that I would have done it even on call. But I knew I had some respect for him, unlike he did for me. So we met up, and guess who showed up with him? Rue. After that, I didn't even let him inside the house. I simply just told him that we were over. I didn't explain anything to him, didn't tell him that I found out everything or how deeply I was hurt. He seemed very annoyed, telling me I owed him a chance. I shut the door and they keep ringing the bell. I, unfortunately, had to threaten them with the cops again, and that seemed to have shooed them away. Currently, I'm just sitting in my room, numb. My head feels hazy. I don't know what to think or what to feel. One part of me feels like I should be glad, but the other feels crushed. After reading the occasional messages you guys leave me, I have decided to update this post with a final update. I ended up moving out of the house Blaze and I shared, and also ended up moving a couple of hours away from where we live. It turned out to be really good for me because it not only helped me to feel the change, but at the same time helped me form new friends and get new hobbies and just start fresh. As for the cops, I didn't end up pressing charges. I just wanted this to be a smooth break, not one filled with courts and constant visits to the cops. And although that might be disappointing to some of you, overall, I think I'm happy with it because I feel like the shame my ex-mother-in-law and Blaze have been receiving is punishment enough for me. Thank you all for the support, guys. NTA, you don't have a mother-in-law problem, you have a husband problem. I'm glad you didn't end up marrying him. Now at least he can sit back and reconsider if he really married you or his mother. NTA, no opinions on the story, but I just want to say, phew, because I can only imagine how horrible of a life OP would have to live if she got kids involved in this. Good on you for leaving. So to start off, I trade limiteds on Roblox. Limiteds are like stocks or crypto. They have values that go up and down. People trade and sell them for other items or Robux. The items in question for this story are Valkyrie helms, more specifically the Ice Valkyrie and the regular Valkyrie. At the time that I wrote this, the Ice Valk is currently 189k Robux, or about $2,396, and the regular one is 149k, or about $1,871. These items are highly sought after and look very nice, hence the high price. I have 2 regular ones and 1 ice one. So my cousin, who is 9, plays Roblox, just like I do. He was at our house and I played with him. When I was making an avatar next to him, he saw my Valkyries and got excited. He apparently really wants one. He asked if he could have one and I told him no. They cost a lot of money, and since he doesn't have premiums, I couldn't give them to him anyway. He was disappointed, but we kept playing. That night when they left, he was smiling, so I thought everything was good. However, in the morning, I woke up to a few missed calls from my aunt and some texts telling me to call her back. I did, and she started with, "Took you long enough." Not even a hello. But whatever, she's like this. She told me that my cousin was really sad when I told him he couldn't have the item because he didn't have a premium, but he had decided to buy it so that I could give it to him. She was really happy and told me to do whatever I need to do because he bought it and he was really excited. I laughed and then she got mad. She was being serious. I told her that this thing cost almost 200,000 Robux and told her how much real money that transfers over to. She didn't believe me, so I told her to call me back on FaceTime. She did, and I opened up my computer and went to the items page and showed her. I have an extension that tells me how much things cost in real money because it's just nice to have. She asked me how in the absolute hell I could afford that, and I said that I didn't pay for it. I just traded up for it. She said, "Oh, so you got it for free. Then it's not hurting you to give it to him." I told her, "Hell no. I traded for this, spending tons of Robux and giving valuable items to get to this point." And she told me that it was fine, though, since it was just a virtual item and virtual money. I still said no. She said fine, but she checked, and that I could just give him the cheaper one, especially since I have two. I laughed in her face and called her an idiot, then hung up. She told my cousin that I said no and was mean, and then she texted me and said that he has been crying all day because he had spent $10 whole on his premium. She told my mom, and now I'm grounded. Not for not trading. My mom agrees with me that's unreasonable, giving away thousands of dollars, but for talking like that to my aunt. I also kind of feel bad because I didn't want to make my cousin cry. I just didn't want to give this much money away. AITA? NTA. Even if I didn't play Roblox and know what a Valk is, $1,800 or more is too much to give away. Aunt deserved it too. You're good. Just keep living your life. Now, how, TF, did you get two Valks and an Ice Valk? They're my dream item. Goddamn. NTA. I think if anyone handled this beautifully, it was your mom. She stood by your decision, but gave you the punishment you deserve for the way you spoke to your aunt. Could have been handled without the profanity. That being said, saying it was probably worth every hour of that grounding. You seem like a good kid. Cheers. I, female 20, have an older brother, male 31, who's married to his wife, female 31. They have a daughter, Evie, female 10. Evie's birthday was last month. She's obsessed with Minecraft at the moment, so I got her a Minecraft-themed cup and a Minecraft poster for her birthday. Evie seemed really happy with these gifts. I visited their home last week and noticed that the poster and cup were nowhere to be seen. I asked my sister-in-law if Evie didn't like Minecraft anymore. She admitted that she threw out my gifts because they didn't match the rest of her home's color scheme. I was shocked and said that I'd never heard anything so ridiculous. My sister-in-law said it's her home and she can do what she likes and that I'm not entitled to see the gifts I bought in their home or see Evie enjoy them. I told my sister-in-law that's such a waste of a perfectly good poster and a perfectly good cup and that she's irrational. Sister-in-law started raging at me and told me to stop telling her what to do in her own home and said that if I don't like it, I can stop buying gifts for her and her family. I left shortly afterwards. Sister-in-law told my brother what happened and he told me I'm being horrible to his wife over nothing. I tried to tell my side of the story, and he said I'm making excuses for piss-poor behavior on my part. For those wondering if Evie actually liked her gifts, I highly doubt my sister-in-law is covering up Evie not liking them. When her birthday was coming up, all she'd ask for is Minecraft-themed things. Just to clarify, because I saw comments suggesting it, my brother and sister-in-law definitely aren't having financial problems and sold the items. They are actually quite well off. Based on what is written, NTA. Does every coffee mug she owns color match every room in her home? This is not dinnerware you bought for an adult. You bought a poster and a cup for a 10-year-old. I think you need to go petty revenge and stop buying gifts for her family and instead take Evie out for her birthday going forward. What you bought was normal for a 10-year-old, and your brother and sister-in-law's reaction was absolutely nuts. However, your brother may have received a different story than what is here, so it's possible he is reacting to false information. NTA, save all the money you'd spend on gifts for their kid until they become legal adults. On that birthday, give the kid all that money. If this is how they parent, their kid will value having the money to move out on by the time they're an adult, more than the gifts that would get thrown away anyway. If the kid asks why they never got gifts before now, tell them what she did and said. Your brother and his wife can learn the hard way at that point who's the a-hole. NTA, my sister-in-laws did the same thing with my gifts. One even used to sell them. They said I showed them up and made them look bad, as my nieces usually love my gifts the most, even though they bought them big-ticket items. I never spent a lot on them, but I really listened to them and got them things they loved. One sister-in-law said I would understand why it hurt them when I have kids of my own. But I have a daughter now, and I'd only be happy if she was given a gift she loved. They both asked me just to give money as gifts before the girls hit their teens. I will never understand it. I just wanted to be a good